Hey guys, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. It's Zachary Reality, and we are here for our weekly recap of Bachelor in Paradise. Today we're going to be talking about episode 6. This episode was kind of a big deal because they cut out a lot of people. They officially got into couples, and the challenges have started, and the rules about the challenges have started. So we're going to get into all of that today, so make sure to give this video a big thumbs up, and remember to hit subscribe. We're back in California this week, which is great. And this week, Natasha went home, Nancy went home, and the one and only, I'm so sad, April. Body shots and all, April went home. So there was a rose ceremony at the beginning of the episode, and the Goldens were really going to get cut in half because there was an imbalance, largely due to April giving her rose to Jonathan and saving him. So the three Golden guys who were left were Kim, Keith, and Gary. And Keith gave his rose to Kathy, thank God, because I feel like Kathy is so fun. We need her on the show. And then Kim gave his rose to Faith. It could have went a few different ways. We know he was feeling Leslie for a hot minute, but him and Faith have a lot in common. They're both from Washington, so they could easily like date back home and make this work. And I was excited about this because I was a huge Faith fan. You got to have faith on the Golden Bachelor. Also, Gary gave his rose to Leslie, which could have went a lot of different ways because he was talking to everybody. Everybody was into Gary. Gary was the Golden Bachelor of Bachelor in Paradise. So I'm sad that Natasha went home. I thought that she was a lot of fun. I thought she was a bad bee. And Natasha, she was in my YouTube channel comments a couple weeks ago. So Natasha, we're going to pour one out for you, girl. Nancy, super sad. Dale and Kat did not get much airtime this week, which is fine. We've seen a lot of them. They've gotten to a lot of fights, but this week they were chill. Spencer and Jess are getting zero airtime. Like, even during that rose ceremony in the beginning, when Spencer gave Jess his rose, they didn't even air him saying, "Will you accept this rose?" Like, it was just like such a flash forward, and they are really just aren't getting airtime at all. And I don't know why, because they're obviously going to be the OG day one it couple of the season. I mean, we saw Jess and Spencer talking, and Spencer was like, "Hey, like, people might now see us as a threat. We're the most solid couple from day one." And Jess was like, "Could that be an advantage, a disadvantage?" So I think we need to see more of them. I think they're going to get engaged at the end of the season. Like, that is my prediction. So, I mean, we need to see more of them so we can actually be invested in this love story, you know? Brian and Parisa got a lot of airtime. They're a mess. And thank God Bailey did not send them home, because Brian has some tea that he's waiting to spill, which I cannot wait to see this bomb when, Jeremy gets exposed for talking to Susie. I feel like this has just like been building for episodes. I think it's finally happening next week. I really hope it doesn't happen at the end of the 2-hour episode. I hope it happens in the beginning. But Brian and Parisa, I mean, Parisa, he doesn't like you, girl. It's not your fault. Parisa is so genuine. She's so sweet. We saw that she literally took a month off of work to be there. Like, she's really taking this seriously, and like, she just wants validation. And I do think that she is like a little high maintenance, maybe, with like constantly wanting reassurance. But like, it's literally her gut telling her that Brian is just not that into it, because I just don't really feel like he likes her that much. Why can't he be more comforting? Why can't he be like, "Parisa, it's okay, I like you"? Like, he's just like always trying to make her feelings seem like they're not valid when her feelings are valid. So I just think that they're a mismatch, and they're probably just staying together because it's part of the show and the experience. So my guess is that they'll break up, hopefully, like, on the season, and then not in the real world, because they're just not meant to be together. But hopefully they can get it together, because they do have a great shot at winning the 500K if they can get there. I think that they would actually be pretty good in some challenges, like down the line, if they can focus on their communication. And I don't think a lot of couples will see them as a threat. Is that the strategy here? To get rid of couples that you think are big threats, or are you going to keep couples that you think are going to get engaged? How much are producers involved in these decisions? That's a really big question. I remember reading once that producers are not allowed to influence game shows, like it's like illegal. But this is like a dating show that is now like a game show. So I don't know, but I really hope that the contestants make their own decisions with like who is sent home and stuff. But I just don't no. Then Sean and Alicia also gave each other a rose. They seem to be pretty solid. They're getting to know each other. It is cute. Andrew and Alex didn't get a lot of airtime either. I guess we'll see more of them as time goes on. But let's talk about Leia and Jonathan. They are friend zoned. So Leia obviously came in late. She wanted to form a romantic connection. There really wasn't any options for her besides Jonathan. And Jonathan basically friend zoned everyone. The drama with them was that Jonathan was telling other people in the house, like some of the other girls, that him and Leia are just friends and that they've already established that. So now it's going to be like smooth sailing for him and he could just focus on like the competitions and winning the money. But Leia, she didn't know that. Like, yeah, she knew that they were like probably more of a friend vibe. And clearly they had a friendship before the show, which they have mentioned. Like, they've hung out a bunch for months leading up to Paradise. So obviously, if there was going to be a romantic connection between them, it probably would have like sparked more in real life. But the thing is, Leia came to Paradise open and she was hopeful that even though they've always said they were friends, they're in this environment. Like, why not just like give it a try? And even if it starts slowly and we start off as friends, like you just never know. Let's just not close the chapter. Like, let's just maybe see. And maybe Leia was a little hopeful, and like that's the right attitude to have. I feel like Jonathan was like oversharing a little bit and being too confident, and Jonathan always wants to be the nice guy, but sometimes he's like too nice. And he shouldn't be like oversharing, and there should be some loyalty to Leia since they're now partners. So even though he's been on the beach longer with Jess and with Kat, I don't know, you just got to be careful when you're talking about your relationship because anything you say is going to get back to Leia. Like, the girls are going to tell the girls. Jonathan kind of puts his foot in his mouth. Like, he needs to be a little bit more open. And he put on his Instagram story that he was in a bad mental space going to Paradise and that he just saw everyone his friends. And just because someone doesn't like you, like, it's okay. So that's kind of his attitude. So there really just was no one on the beach for him. It just felt like maybe he didn't need to put that so set in stone because it really rubs Leia the wrong way. Because when Leia gave Jonathan the rose, she was like, "You're welcome." As in, like, here you go, like, you can stay on the show longer, like, you don't even like me. Because the thing is, it's a dating show. Like, now it's about competition, but you're supposed to go on to date. You're supposed to try and date and be open to dating. So, like, even if you just, like, say, like, oh, everyone's just friends, we're just friends, like, there still needs to be a part of you that is, like, open to exploring connections and getting to know people. And I think that's where the disconnect was and what Jonathan needs to realize is that, like, yes, you and Leia are friends and you're building a friendship, but, like, you got to choose your words wisely. So she made a little bit of a scene. She kind of pitted and pouted, and she, barely gave him the rose. He had to clip it on himself. And Leia and Jonathan are going to have to overcome this hurdle, and I'm sure they will. They're both like funny people who are easygoing, and I think that now she knows the truth about where Jonathan really, how he really feels about her. And I think she would have preferred to hear that from him versus the other girls. They're going to have to figure out how to work together in the future, and I kind of think they are because Leia is in that teaser with the money at the end. I feel like she's been in that teaser. But the challenge today was about gambling. It was in the casino. Everyone was going to answer questions in their individual spaces, and your partner would have to guess if the answer was higher or lower than what you chose. I didn't like the game. I thought it was fun with the gambling. I think that's a really good idea. I love to gamble. You put a few chips in, you can make more if you gamble more, but I just felt like, why are we giving like A, B, like higher or lower? It should be like A, B, C, or D, or maybe they can like guess a number. Like, there should have been like 4 options or 3 options with like multiple choice. I don't really love the whole like higher or lower because I feel like it kind of makes it like a little bit boring. What was interesting about the game was the questions were interesting, but like there needed to be more of like a oomph in like guessing the answers versus just higher or lower. And then I loved the chip thing, as I mentioned. And whoever won this challenge was going to get a lot of power. They were not only going to go on a romantic date, they were also going to be having immunity, but they were also going to choose who goes home out of the bottom 3 couples that got the least amount of points. So you really get a lot of power here. And I don't like this rule, and I'm going to tell you why. I feel like it's not fair to make someone choose someone to go home, especially each round. I think that if there's going to be a bottom 3 couples, then maybe everyone in the house could vote for one of the bottom 3 couples to go home. And we can play Survivor, because I'm pretty sure they did it like that more on Bachelor Pad. I just didn't think it was fair to put Bailey in that situation where she would have to choose. So because the girls had the power this week, it was ultimately going to be Bailey's decision to choose who was not handing on a rose, which would then send home a couple, unless somebody wanted to do a switcheroo, which could be possible next week, because Jesse did say there was like a teaser about how some of you are secretly wanting to pursue other people, because like, maybe Dale and Alicia want to chat more. But basically, like, I just feel like it was a lot of pressure for Bailey. So maybe they could vote for the bottom 3 couples. So Jeremy ends up winning this challenge because he bets like all of his money and gets it right. And it skyrockets to him to 36. And then Gary loses the challenge for him and Leslie because basically he bets more money than he should and gets the answer wrong, when in reality, if he only bet one coin, then he wouldn't have been in the bottom three. So everybody was like mad at Gary. They're like, we're not going to Vegas with you. Leslie was like, this is a dumb move. And maybe this was the move that ultimately sealed Gary and Leslie's fate, because now they're in the bottom three with Faith and Kim and Brian and Parisa. Bailey now has this decision to make. So a lot of people are talking to her. They're trying to like convince her that they should stay. Brian is trying to talk to Jeremy to convince him that he can stay. And I'm pretty sure Brian and Jeremy are like roommates, but who knows if they're like actually like sleeping in the same room every night, since we did get that like intimate shot of Brian and Parisa crying in the middle of the night. Bailey's decision is ultimately to send Leslie and Gary home. I feel like that was the right decision strategically, because they are a strong couple that could probably win more challenges in the future. They're also a couple who I think have a lot of money. They both have celebrity connections and are well established. But Bailey's reason is that because she feels like her and Parisa are so close, because they're like both like the young girls. They were both on Grant season. They're really close with Serafina from Grant season. I listened to Bailey on the Vile Files this morning, so that's what she was saying. And then she also wanted to give Faith and Kim a real shot since they just got there. They're getting to know each other, and maybe she sees more of a love connection between Faith and Kim, because I actually feel like Leslie and Gary are just going to end up being friends. And I need to listen to Leslie on Bachelor Happy Hour to get an update on their relationship. And then I'll make a TikTok about it. I wonder if Leslie's going to give us an update today, or if there's going to be a reunion in a few weeks that they'll have to save info for. But I think it was a good strategic move to get rid of Gary and Leslie. I do think that maybe they would be more interesting TV than Faith and Kim. So I kind of wanted Faith and Kim to go. But I think Gary messing up in the poker tournament in that challenge, also with them being a bigger threat, them being there for longer, and maybe there's something that we don't know. Maybe Bailey sees a friend zone thing between them. I totally understood why she broke down and cried. It really made sense, her decision. And then everyone hands out their roses. And now moving forward, we're in this competition game. So I hope that there's a different rule change, because I think it's a lot of pressure for one person to decide who goes home each week. Like, that is a lot of pressure. And are the producers infiltrating that? Because obviously Brian is not going to go home if he's going to drop this bomb to Bailey next week about Jeremy calling Susie. But also, Brian should not tantalize that over Jeremy's head. Like, if you're going to say it, just say it. Because it felt like he was kind of teasing Jeremy last week, because Jeremy was teasing him. So maybe it was some back and forth. But I'm like, you got to kiss Jeremy's ass this week, because he does have the power. One thing I will say, guys, is I do know who ends up with who. I know who's still together. But what I don't know is how the money ends up. I don't know who wins the game. I don't want to know. I want to be surprised. I don't know who splits the money or anything. So I am really interested to see, and I hope that it gets more competitive as time goes on, because I'm into the competition of it all. And we'll see what happens with the rules, and if like you're really just going to have to choose who goes home. And the Jeremy and the Bailey thing is going to be interesting next week. So we have 4 more episodes left of Paradise. That was episode 6, so 7, 8, 9, and 10. And then we'll get a lot of fun answers. I'm also obsessed with Perfect Match. The first 6 episodes dropped last week, so I've been watching that and talking about it on my TikTok. Those are all my thoughts on Bachelor in Paradise. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Make sure to give this video a big thumbs up before you head out of here. Do not forget to subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye, everybody.